Hey everyone, welcome to this live office hours session. I'm Kimberly from the 37 Signals team, the makers of Basecamp, joined by Ashley from customer support. Thanks for joining us here this morning, afternoon, depending on where in the world you are from. Speaking of, let us know in the chat where you are coming to us from. We always love seeing where people are joining us from today. So this session today is all about how to use Basecamp to manage your social media projects. And a couple of housekeeping things before we get started. You guys have found the chat. We love that. Just below that, on the icon on your right side of the screen, you see the chat icon. Just below that, there's a question mark. If you have any questions during this session, post them there. We will answer them throughout the session. Any that we don't get to as we're going along, we'll jump to at the end. And you can also upvote people's questions in that section as well. So chat with us during the session. And then if you have questions, post them in the question mark. Ashley, what housekeeping things do you have before we get started?
Yeah, so the session is very specific to Basecamp for social media. We won't be covering some of the basics like how to create a project, what is a card table tool. We might get into some things, but if you have, Basecamp 101 questions, we have Basecamp 101 classes. So head over to basecamp.com/classes, and that's going to be a better place for you to kind of sign up for something else that's live. But if you also feel like we're going beyond the basics and you need a little bit more help beyond this session, maybe it's more, you have a more specific scenario, please just reach out to us at support@basecamp.com. My team, myself, we're all happy to meet with you over Zoom and kind of figure out where Basecamp works for you. I will be in the chat, in the QA section throughout this entire time. And then if anything, this session is recorded. So if you need to leave, no worries. I'll send you
Don't
this
leave.
link afterwards.
Don't leave us, but
Or
it
just
is
don't.
recorded.
I'm thinking about Ben who's on the road, you know?
So I have posted up on the screen, you'll see support@basecamp.com, which is that email address Ashley mentioned. Feel free to reach out to our team at any time. And then just below us, below our pictures, is a little green button that says sign up for classes. That's where you can sign up for the classes that Ashley mentioned as well, including that Basecamp 101. Okay, well, with all of that, I'm going to bring out our special guest. We are joined by my day one buddy, Chad Neidt from our team handles most of our social media content here. Chad, hello, welcome.
Hey, how's it going, everyone? Thanks for
Oh my,
having me.
my gosh, we're so glad to have you here. Chad, before we dive into social media things, tell us a little bit about you, what you do here, where you're from, all of the things, and then we'll get started.
Sure. So my name is unfortunately Chad. Real name's Charles. So if you'd rather call me that, that's fine too. I live in Denver, Colorado, grown up here most of my life, and I've been working at Basecamp 3 years. As Kimberly mentioned, we started on the same day. I am
Day
a
one
se-
buddies.
and I'm a senior visual storyteller, which basically translates to I make videos and run social media.
Yeah, amazing. Well, why don't we, Chad, have you share your screen? What I love about these office hour sessions, what Ashley and I both love about them, is we get to dive into actual projects, how we use things here internally. So the things you're going to see are actually live projects that we use in Basecamp. So Chad, why don't you start with your home screen, kind of walk us through kind of high level what you have on your home screen, and then we'll dive into more social media related projects.
Sure. Okay, so all my pin stuff, I have our main company project here. That's right front all the way to the left, just because that's the messages I'm going to need to see first, probably from company-wide things. We have our meetup project. This is the marketing cycle 5 project. That's the main project we're going to dive into. I forgot to do this. I'm sorry, Kimberly. And then we're also going to dive into this social media project. I'll explain the differences of those here in a bit. And then we have some social projects here. This is like a pets and kids project. This is, a bunch of, here's where we talk about sports. Here's where we talk about movies, music, that kind of stuff. And then I have my Chad stuff folder. Again, a lot of us here at Basecamp have our own private folder where we like to write up stuff before we want people to see it publicly. That's basically what that's for.
Ashley, what's your private project called? Is it just like Ashley's
It's
stuff?
just an emoji.
Oh,
You have this
Ashley and the
star emoji.
emojis. Amazing. Mine is called It's Just Me, Myself, and I. So almost all of us, like Chad said, have our own little project that no one else can see. No one else is attached to it. So you can kind of do your own private notes and such. Okay, well, with that, let's go into the marketing cycle 5 project. Chad, talk to us a little bit about the cycle work. And I'm assuming you're starting a new project every single cycle.
Correct. Many of you may know this, but at 37 Signals, we work in 6-week cycles. So we don't make a big goal for the whole year. We basically just make goals for 6 weeks at a time. At the end of that 6 weeks, we evaluate if we done what we had set out to do or not. And then we start a new project. So we're currently in cycle 5 of the year 2025. So this cycle is about to end, and you're right, I am going to start another cycle project here in a couple weeks. So let's jump into this one. Again, there's going to be another one we're going to go into that's a little more permanent, but I'll explain that later. So currently, here's our cycle 5 marketing project. As you can see, October 17th, that's when it ends in a few weeks. Let's go over the people on this project. So many of you may not know this, but I'm the only one who runs social media at the moment. I do get feedback on videos, so you'll see a couple of other people that like pop in that I ask for feedback, but I'm the only one on this project currently.
Can I interrupt for just a
Yeah,
second, Chad? Just so people understand, Chad is doing most of our social media content, but there's also other people who have access to our accounts. So, for example, support logs in to our Twitter account and LinkedIn, can respond to customers. I will post things about office hours to those accounts. So there are multiple people who have access to those sorts of things. But as far as like creative content, Chad is like the king of that.
wow, I'm a king. Never been called a king before. It's first time.
Gorgeous.
And not the last.
Not the last, great. So yeah, moving forward, let's go over some of the tools that I use to run our social media accounts.
Perfect.
We have the message board here. From cycle to cycle, this gets used a little more than others. Like this cycle, we only put one message up, but we still use it just because sometimes I might want to type up a pitch or something that I want feedback on or I want other people to see. Like I said, though, we didn't really use it that much this cycle. Next, we have our to-dos. I'll hop in here. Again, this kind of vacillates. If we're doing paid media, there's a lot more of these. This cycle, we didn't do any paid media, so it's a little light. Now, here we go. We're going to start with where this pertains to social media. I have a recurring to-do in our social media to-do list here that says create social schedule. Some people like to create social content calendars way in advance. They like to be 6-7 weeks of planned content. Here we don't like to think that far ahead, and there might be some trending thing that we want to make really quickly, and so we're only gonna look 1 week ahead. That doesn't mean we don't have a bank of content many weeks
Right.
ahead. It just means we don't actually set the schedule until that Monday of the week that we're approaching. So we have a to do here that says create social schedule Monday, October 13th. That's for next Monday. That's going to pop up. I'm going to get a little reminder that says create social schedule. And then I can say, oh, okay, I'm going to pick out the videos, put them in our content calendar. Let's open this to do. So it says this little kind of recycling sign symbol means that it repeats every week, as it says right here. And if I check it off, it's going to create another one. So watch this, everyone. Ready for the magic? 3, drum roll, please. 2, 1. Oh, look at that. And another one popped up.
Amazing.
And it went down to the little area where we see the checked off to-dos. I'm going to uncheck that just because I want it to remind me next week. So, any questions in the chat? Anything we want to go
No
over
questions
about
on
our
the
to-dos?
chat yet, but I do, just to clarify. So every Monday, you're getting a recurring to do telling you to make this social schedule, and then tell us what you're doing. Like, where are you making that schedule?
Great. Good question. So, this is our Cycle 5 project. Let's go to my homepage. We have another project called Marketing Social Media. And it just has our publishing schedule as well as doors to all of our social accounts. So I will go into our publishing schedule on that Monday when I get that to do, and I'll throw it in. As you can see, for this week, we have 2 things planned. A rework episode went up today, and then we have another one coming up tomorrow. So let me just real quick explain. Let me go back to this project real quick. Let me explain why we have 2. So because we have a cycle project that only lasts 6 weeks, that project is going to get archived at the end of this cycle, and it just kind of goes away. We like to keep our publishing schedule a long record of it, so I can go back, many, many months and see, if I click on this date, we can see all the things that have been posted. So this just is so that we have a record that we can always access of all the content we
Nice.
publish, all the content we're going to publish. Make sense?
Yeah, it makes perfect sense.
So coming back up to this month, say that Monday to-do pops up. Let's say it's next week, you guys, and it just popped up, and this is what it looks like. As you can see, there's still a bunch of events in here. These are our content pillars. Those of you who work in social media probably know what these are, just different categorizations of what type of content we're posting. So our schedule is every Tuesday, we post a pillar 1 piece, and every Thursday we post a pillar 2 or 3. So I've made a repeating event in this content calendar. As you can see, it repeats every week on Tuesday to post a pillar 1. I've also put in, this is kind of the template, right? The video file and the links. I don't update any of this until I've made that content schedule for the week. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So you're going into the event and editing it to
Yeah.
to link to the actual content.
Exactly. So say I'm making the schedule right now. I would hit edit, and then I would title it. Let's say this is called Jet to Holiday, right? We got that. That was a trend. Let's say we'll call it parody vid, right? Say that's what it was. I'll add the title. I'll keep pillar 1 in because I want that visibility there. And then I'll find the video file in Basecamp. We'll go over that in a minute, where that is. And then I will hyperlink it there. And then once I've posted all of these videos to all of our accounts, I'll then hyperlink the exact link to Instagram, to TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, that kind of thing. I'll show you real quick what a filled out one looks like.
Perfect.
So from yesterday, this is a video called When the Client Unceremoniously Kills Weeks of Work. So as you can see now, everything is hyperlinked and filled in. So if I click the video file, it takes you right to this meme we made.
Nice.
In Basecamp, which again, we'll explain where that lives. And then you can also click our Instagram, and here it is, right? So again, this is just for visibility's sake, so that anyone in the company, if they're ever curious, oh, what did we post? They click this date and they see what it was. They can access the video file, say they wanted to share it for some reason, or who knows why. They can get that video file, and they can see that it was actually posted on all of our accounts.
Okay, what I love that you're doing, Chad, is that you're using the schedule as kind of a template at the same time. So you're like building in things like placeholders and then going back and editing those events once it's no longer a placeholder and it's actually real.
Exactly. It's another way that you can kind of automate some things with Basecamp. I was getting annoyed. When I started this, I wasn't doing that, and I was getting annoyed every week, like having to type in pillar 1, type in all these things. It's not that much work, but it's enough to not be annoyed by when you've templatized it, and you're like, oh, it's so nice to just come in here, highlight some things, hyperlink, I'm done.
And you're not having to think about it because you just thought about it once, and then it's like always there.
Exactly. And when I get that little notification that says create schedule, like you said, I can just go to this publishing schedule and like type in what I want to put in.
I mean, perfect example, this Wednesday, October 8th rework episode that went live this morning, and I have a notification in my Hey menu to add these links. So it's just like a reminder to me to add these links for this particular episode.
Exactly. And so Kimberly's done the same thing. She will add, these are the Basecamp links up here that she'll add.
Yep.
So if they were linked, you'd click it would go to it, and then same for where they actually live once it's live.
Yeah, and if you go back actually last week to Wednesday, October 1st,
let's look at that one.
You can see that event has those actually hyperlinked.
So if I click that, oh, here's the 2 social clips she made. Click this. Here's the audio and the transcript.
I think there's a relevant question here. Someone's asking, Kathleen, how are you posting to socials? Is it through a third-party scheduler, or are you all individually posting?
It's a great question. We experimented with Hootsuite. It had a couple limitations we weren't really into. And so I just do them manually. Depending on how far ahead I need to be, sometimes I have like a couple things going on a Thursday morning. I don't want to think about it. So I'll actually go into each individual app on Instagram, TikTok, everything, and I'll just schedule them to go live for that Thursday. TikTok, you can't do, some of you know this probably, you can't really schedule, but I'll put it in a draft so that all I have to do is like hop into the app and like click go live. So I am doing them manually simply because I think the tools that are offered are not what I would like them to be. And again, we don't schedule far in advance. Those tools are for people that really like to schedule far in advance and they can just like pre-upload everything.
Yeah.
That would be more work than it's worth for us since we just like to go week by week.
Yeah. Kimberly, same for you?
Right. I also manually post for Rework, but it is pre-scheduled, if that makes sense. So for the Rework podcast, because our audience is so international, I try to schedule it to release kind of overnight. So it's like 3 a.m. Central Time so that it's 10 a.m. for parts of Europe. So I do pre-schedule both to YouTube and to the podcast networks.
Nice.
Yeah. But then when I often will post to our X account, mostly like this office hour session was posted to X. That is a manual, do it when the time feels right, not pre-scheduled kind of thing.
Excellent.
Okay. Chad, this is this like calendar schedule.
Yeah.
I don't think it's how people would necessarily think to use it, but it makes so much sense when you explain it this way.
Yeah, and again, this was like over time that this was formulated. And there's many ways to use Basecamp. Obviously, there's other creative ways that you could probably do this. This is just one way of doing it and how we do it. Are we ready to move on from this project? That's pretty much all this project has. I mean, we might come back to it at a certain point, but
yeah, let's go see what other tools you're using within that main project that are related to social media.
Great. Okay, so back here, we've gone over the message board. We've gone over the to-dos. Next is internal schedule. So this is separate from that publishing schedule that we just looked at in that other project. This is a schedule. We'll go back where there was a little more action happening. So this is just an internal schedule for meetings and kind of shows some to-dos or other deadlines. Like sometimes if we have paid media, we'll be like, we want this draft done by October 17th, and we'll put that in this schedule. So this is just for more logistics than we don't post any social like content calendar stuff in here. It's all just like meetings, to-dos, and deadlines.
Got it.
So that's just incubated. Also, back to that publishing schedule, as you can see, we do have a door that I've put into this project so that it's easy to get to, right? So instead of, oh, I need to go to the publishing schedule, I'm going to go out of here, go into here, click a bunch of times. I can instead get taken straight there through this project.
Yeah.
So that's just like another cheat.
And what's great about that is Chad doesn't have it linked to the project. He has it linked directly to the tool within the project. So like taking out an extra link or an extra click of the mouse by going directly to the tool.
Exactly. And if you don't know how to do that, you literally just take that link right there and you would go into setup tools. And if you go to this edit door, that's where I put that link. I call it publishing schedule, didn't add a description. That's the auto image that comes up. Saved, and then it's there. Okay, so we've gone over those. Let's go over docs and files. This is the tool we use the most. So let's hop in here and I'll walk you through it. We have a document right here called social strategy. Now this is kind of our master plan. This is, a lot of you are probably familiar with these terms. What's our POV? Who's the target persona? And then here's the definitions of all those content pillars. We have that doc front and center right here. Why is that? Why isn't it a message? Because a message, again, will kind of go away after this project is over. This is our social strategy we're implementing all the time. So I actually have it in our template for projects. So every time we start a new cycle project, that social strategy document is in there. And we can edit it, do whatever we want with it, but it's just got a more permanent place as a doc as opposed to a message that will just kind of float away.
Another benefit of having it as a document is that you can update it and make changes, and those changes will be tracked.
Yes.
So there's on the 3-dot menu option on that page. Will you click on that real quick? Yep. You can go to view change log and see any updates that have been made. So if there was different versions of that document, you could always go back to a different version if you wanted to. Not something you can do if it's a post on the message board.
Yes, great point. Okay, so that's that one. This next folder, this is our social post folder. This is the busiest folder. I'll get into that in just a second. I want to go over all these folders. We have some brand assets. We use some, sorry, I'll go in order. That was random. We have this is a docu-series we're working on. So there's like a document in there that, we work through. This is a paid assets folder in case we do paid assets. We didn't do any of this cycle. We have heartbeats and kickoffs. That's just like a end of cycle, beginning of cycle thing that we do where we have to write up what we did and what we want to do next cycle. And we have brand assets. We work with freelancers who help us make content sometimes. And so this just explains what our logins are for certain things that they might need to use. And these are like our Basecamp colors and font we use, all that. So
Chad, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Is this also part of your template, that brand assets folder? So every time you're doing a marketing new cycle project, that stuff is moving over as well?
Yes, basically all these folders are in the project template for this, except for this docu-series, because that's something we started this cycle. But everything else is automated so that when we start a new cycle, it's already there. Again, just a way to like little shortcuts. You don't have to do work over again.
Awesome.
Okay, so let's go into social posts in our docs and files. This is the one we use the most, and this is how we keep all of our content organized. Okay, so let's say we're going to go in order for how content gets made. Scripts, that's the first thing, that's the first place you start with whenever you're making a video, at least for us. So if we go in here, again, we break everything down by our content pillar categories. These are scripts for each content pillar. So once we finish a script and that's approved, usually it'll get approved. Well, a lot of the time we don't do approval. Maybe I'm getting in the weeds here. If there's notes on the script, someone will say something and we'll fix it. And then they'll say, okay, great, go make the video. But most of the time it's just write it up, do it. Right. And then the approval and review happens a little later. So you make a script, put it in here, permanent place for it. Then once we do the script, I'm gonna hop out of here for a second because let's go in the order of how things go. We're gonna go to our card table. Once that script has been created, we'll create a card and we'll start that video. So right here, as you can see, we're writing this one. So this is so that people know that that's the status of this video, but also in the notes, I'll say, this is a Pillar 1 sketch based on this script. Takes me right to that script, which was in this folder. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it absolutely does. And will you actually go back to what you clicked on? Because when
Which one, here?
Yeah, click on that and then go to the script. Yes, okay. The script. If you scroll down, you can see next to comments, there's this one reference. So anytime you're linking within Basecamp to something else, it creates this reference. So if you scroll down, next to comments, there's a separate tab. And that way you can see where things are cross-linked, if you will. Mm-hmm. It really helps to, if you wanted to ever think like, where else was this mentioned?
Mm-hmm. It's a good place to do that. And then you can click it and it's mentioned in this card that we were just at. Okay, so continuing with the process. So we've written our script, we've made a card in the card table, we've put it in the process it's in. Then let's say, we want to keep going with this one, you'd move it over to whatever thing it's in, or whatever, stage of the process it's in. And then once we've finished a video, we'll put it in the review column. Let's click on this one because it has a lot of comments on it. So once I finish a video, I'll upload it to the comment section of the card. And I tagged a few folks here because I wanted their feedback. So here is this video, let me know what you think. And then below, they gave a couple of notes on it. We discussed some things. We weren't really sure about this video. So we ended up saying, you know what, we're gonna hold off on this. So that's why when you go back to this column, you can see it's in the on hold section, okay? But if we finish a video, let's go to the done section. This one has a lot of notes. This is good. So I posted this video, had a couple of notes, posted another draft, more notes, posted this draft. Finally, we got approval, right? So what I do when I finish a video is I will add the final file to a permanent folder in Docs and Files. Somebody had a question, I want to say, leading, like, you have like you asked for questions, Kimberly and Ashley, right? Leading into this,
Oh, yeah.
I want to say someone asked a question about, like, what do you do archiving the videos if you use the card table? And that's exactly what we're doing here. We don't just like leave them in the comment section because it's kind of hard to get to, right? So I will upload it. Here, let's actually go back to just so you guys have a frame of reference. We're in our docs and files, right? We go to social posts, final posts. I will upload the video to one of these folders depending on the content pillar it's in. So it has a permanent place, right? Instead of, oh, it was in the card table, it was in the done section, I think. Is this the final version or not? It's kind of hard to tell. You have to like rack your brain reading the comments. I think this is the final one. No. We post it in docs and files so that you're like, oh, I can just go straight to it. So let's go back to that video I was just in, right? This one. I say final file here. You click it, it takes you right there. This is part of our pillar 3 content in the reworks clip folder. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. And something that we do, not just in social media videos, but some of our other videos as well. I think the saying that this is the final version is helpful because oftentimes we're not proofing in like a 4K or the highest resolution. So you might be uploading things in a draft mode that's like 720p or 1080p, like a lower resolution, just to make it upload faster and easier to view. And then the final is going to be like the best, the highest resolution. I don't know if that's the case for social, Chad. I don't know if that
they're so short. They're
yeah.
so short that it typically is not. However, if you are doing longer form videos on YouTube or whatever, that's a great way to save file space on Basecamp.
Yeah.
Like, do not, in your review process and when you're putting out rough drafts for approval, don't like Kimberly, for example, in her podcast, some of those files are a lot of gigs.
Yeah.
So she's probably posting, like, if there's a review process, like she said, 720p. And then if you're trying to cut down on file space and not like, pay for more, that's a great way to do it. Okay, so that's how we sort of link everything in the entire process. I'll just kind of break that down again. We start in docs and files. We start in docs and files with scripts. Once we are ready to create that video, we go to our card table. I'm going to put this back here so that it's there, right? You create a card and we note here's where the script is. We move that card along in the process. Then once it gets to the review section, upload a couple of drafts, talk about it. Once we are done with it, we make a final hyperlink here so that everyone knows where to find it.
Hey, Chad, I'm going to interrupt you for a couple of questions that we got in. Will you go back to your docs and files folder?
Yeah.
Question here from Jeff. What was that social tracker file, Excel, Google Sheet?
Great. Actually, that was probably the next thing we're going to go over.
Oh, perfect.
Look at that. Okay, so we have a Google spreadsheet here that's called Social Tracker. Some people are probably wondering, well, how do you keep track of what you've posted, what's ready? This is what that doc is. Could we do that in Basecamp? Probably, but I think sometimes spreadsheets are just the way to go for some things. I like to have everything in front of me. So let's open this. Okay. Good thing that's automatic. And here we go. So we're in our social tracker. So let me break this down. This is a Google spreadsheet that tracks all the videos we got in the hopper, which ones are done, which ones are in progress, which ones have been posted. As you can see, I'll break it down here. In this column, we have the title of the video. This column, we have the pillar classification. And this column, we have if it's posted or not. A little redundant because now I'm going to go over the colors. Blue means it's been posted. Again, this is just so it's easier on the eyes. So I'm like, when I get that to do on Monday morning, I open this social tracker up. This is the first place I go to decide what can we post, right? So I could post this one because it's green and that means it's ready to post. Blue means it's been posted. Orange means it's still in progress. And then as you can tell, some of these are hyperlinked. That means if I wanted to see this video, click the link, takes me right to the permanent place in docs and files where this video exists. And that's in this final posts folder where that social tracker thing is.
And, Chad, tell us why you prefer to use a Google spreadsheet for this kind of work. Obviously, there's ways you could do this in Basecamp.
Yeah, no, totally.
There's no
Again,
right or wrong. I'm just curious.
again, I think I like to have everything in front of me. You could make a document in Basecamp and do it this way too, right? You could highlight, you could just put like pillar one videos that are ready or whatever. Like you could do that too.
Or a
My
to-do
brain,
list.
or a to-do list. You could do a to-do list as well. I think I'm just like my brain likes to look at things in like columns and this format, which Basecamp does not have.
Yeah.
And so that's just how I do it.
Yeah. Okay, that's a perfect answer. And we do link to spreadsheets all the time when a spreadsheet makes the most sense. So that door function or a link to an external document, like a cloud file like that is an easy way to do it.
Yeah. Did you say there were a couple questions or should we keep going?
Let me go to this other question from Mike. Hello, Mike. Won't your docs and files folder go away with your cycle 5 project when you're putting your project to archive?
Oh, it's like these people cheated and saw the outline before we started. So that is true. This project will go away. This is another reason why we don't just put the final file in the like card table page. We put it in here because when this project is over and I'm clearing it out, I will just take all of these final videos and we have another project. Just go to it real quick. I have another project called marketing video. This is like our master archive of all our videos in here. Okay, it's all classified by category. I classify social videos by cycle, right? So as you can see, next is cycle 5. I'll create a folder for this. I'll move all those final videos from this temporary project into this permanent project so that you can always archive them or you can always locate them whenever you need to in our archive. Make sense?
Yeah. And even if it is archived, you could still get to it. So if you go to your homepage for me, Chad, if you go to view all projects in a list, you could click that archived and trashed, and you could go to any iCarved project and open it up and look at it. So it's not like it's gone. It's just
check it out right
kind
here.
of out of view.
Here's cycle 2 social media videos, right? This was from ways back. I don't know if we organized things the same way.
But you still have
I probably already moved things out of here, honestly. But yeah, the point is, this is an archive project, and look, you can still access all the files within it.
Yeah.
Another question?
No, let's keep going. There is another question, but I'll save it for the end.
Okay. Okay, great. So, so those two folders are like the main folders we use in here, and then we have like an ideas folder where we just like vomit whatever creative ideas we have. I could keep this in a document like outside of the folder. I don't know why I don't. I guess I just like to look at everything feeling the same. And maybe another idea we'll get in there that's like just a draft of an idea. So I don't know. This is another series we're working on developing, and same with this. So that's what those 3 folders are. I think that's all the tools.
Yeah.
We do have a door to a product we're developing. Some of you may or may not know we're developing another product called Fizzy. We're all encouraged to use the products that we're developing so that we can find the bugs and whatnot. So that's just a door to that product to use it for other things.
And the Fizzy product is a Kanban style board, similar to Card Table. So Chad, I'm assuming instead of the current videos we're cooking Card Table, you're just using it in Fizzy instead?
Yes, I have another little Kanban board, like you called it, for videos that we're going through in that product.
Yeah, perfect. Okay, Chad, anything else you need to show us before I open it up for questions? You guys, there's only like one question posted waiting for us. So add some more. We're here for you.
Don't let us off the hook that easy. Okay, but yeah, that's pretty much it. I don't know if I missed anything, but big picture, 2 projects, one that's temporary, one that's permanent for publishing schedule, and actually 3 projects, and a third for archiving final videos when we're done with the temporary project.
Okay, let me go to Catalina's question, which is, does your Basecamp workflow include tracking social media performance metrics, or is it mainly for content scheduling and collaboration?
We do not. We have used Bitly in the past, and we just like would put a door in the project to Bitly to go to like our social tracking page. And then if we did create sort of a report of how links are tracking, we would write that up in a document or probably a message actually, so that it's like an announcement, right, of how social performed for this cycle, and it would kind of break down everything, maybe link a couple of those Bitly links if people wanted to check those out.
And I would say in general, as a company, we're not like super heavy trackers, just like in general.
Yeah.
So for organizations who that is more of a priority, you might need a third-party tool for that. We just are not that into metrics. We're like, we can tell if something did well.
Yeah.
Versus needing a report about it.
Totally.
Okay, you guys, if there aren't any other questions, we're going to wrap it up, but I can't imagine you don't have questions for my friend Chad.
I can, because there aren't any.
Okay, well, if there are no other questions, I'm going to pop back up onto the screen.
Should I stop sharing? Are we done?
Yeah, why don't you stop sharing?
Okay.
I'm going to post this email address again if you have any follow-up questions, even if it's like how you should set up your project, how any of the project tools work. Email us at support@basecamp.com. Mike, let me see if I can get to your question real quick before we go. Hold, please. Okay, Mike says, when you do long form HQ content, I think 5 terabyte storage space could run out in a couple of months. Any good ideas on how to use Google Drive as file storage for Basecamp? So Chad, I'll let you answer on the social media aspect. I'll answer on the rework aspect because we do a video every single week. Those episodes are 30 minutes in length every time. We record in 4K. Like those take up so much file storage space. All of my working documents and drafts, I keep in Dropbox. So I am using a third-party storage for most of what I do. And then like Chad, final files, I am posting to Basecamp. So I work with an editor on some of those things. We're sharing everything through Dropbox. I'm linking to it in Basecamp, and then final files I'm uploading. So that kind of helps with some of that storage. Obviously, we don't have storage constraints, but it's just a lot. So you can use a third-party tool. Chad, do you use anything third-party for storage, or is all your storage in Basecamp?
All my storage is in Basecamp, but we obviously don't have a file limit. So I can see if you do have a file limit, why that would be attractive to maybe avoid getting to that limit and using Dropbox or Google Drive. And again, what I would probably do if that were me is what Kimberly was describing, in our docs and files, I would probably, for final posts for this folder, I would just replace that with a Google Drive door or link to Google Drive with your own folder structure in there for all your final work. And then you don't even have to migrate it off of a temporary project because it's always on Google Drive.
I will say one more thing.
Oh, yeah.
That when you are in docs and files and you upload something, when you click on that file again, there's an option that says replace with a new version underneath it.
Yes.
Replace it with a new version, and we're only going to count the most recent one as storage. So your previous versions will still exist, but just know that you can also just keep replacing your version whenever you need to.
I didn't know that.
Good tip from support, Ashley.
So archived videos, even though they're stored on our servers, or like old videos that you've done in the way that you just described and they're replaced a new version, those older versions don't count against storage.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay. Another suggestion I can make on that end, because we've in the past done it a different way, instead of using card table, right? If you don't really care about what process a video is in, you could run everything out of docs and files. You could just make a folder in here. Let's just, for the sake of the question, do it. It's called like videos in the works, right? And then just upload videos straight into this folder. You could upload a video in here and like do the comment and review set like in the in this folder. I'm pretty sure our freelancer has done that. Let me show you.
Are you trying to
share your
show
screen?
us your screen?
Oh my gosh, I am. And I like totally.
We're like, we don't know what you're talking about.
Okay, hold on. Let me go back. I know, I'm just. Okay, so here's what I meant. Okay, back here. What I was saying was in your social posts folder, you could create a folder called videos in the works, upload those videos into here, and then just like comment, review, whatever, and just keep replacing the draft in here. And then that's where the final video always lives. So you could just take out the card table entirely, if that makes sense. So like what I was going to show you was a freelancer of ours has done that. Let's see here. Here we go. He would just post a video in here. I think he would just actually edit it. He would go edit and he would like delete the video and then put a new one in. That's not really what we're talking about. What we're talking about is replace the video. I don't even know. Why is that option not up here? Do you guys know?
Yeah, when you go back out one and you click on an actual file instead of a document. So like
he made a document. I see.
Right. Click on project management hack.
This one
Scroll
you can
down.
do it.
Replace with a new version. Yeah.
Okay. So he was okay. Anyways, I probably just confused you, but the main point is don't use the card table. Just upload a video straight to a folder inside Docs and Files and replace it as you go.
If you have other storage questions or other workarounds, definitely email us at support. Ashley knows all the tips.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Okay, question from Kathleen. Is there a way of exporting the schedule to upload it to a third-party scheduler? Sadly, the answer is no, unless, Ashley, you know a trick I don't know.
If that third-party scheduler, if that can handle subscriptions, then you can take your Basecamp link. Like if you right-click, like, I don't know, the Apple one, and then copy that link, that is your subscription link. So if your third-party tool uses, has the functionality to
like a calendar subscription,
to subscribe to a calendar, then that's the option for you. It's the only way. And maybe the only other way might be like using Zapier or something, where you can connect one platform with another. Basecamp being one of them. We have tons of different endpoints from our API. And maybe one of them would be the one so that when Chad posts something new in this project in particular, and it's a new event, then it shows up on your third-party scheduler.
Yeah.
This is what you're talking about, right? Add this publishing schedule to one of these, and then inside, say, Apple Calendar, if there's the option to export it, that's how you do it. That's kind of the workaround. Is that what you're saying, Ashley?
No, I'm saying you would right-click the words Apple Calendar, and then you would copy the link. It's not showing up, but you would copy the link, and then whatever the third-party scheduler tool is called, I don't know if Hootsuite counts as one, but maybe it does. If Hootsuite can handle calendar subscriptions, that's the only link that it needs to read the subscription for this project from Basecamp.
Okay.
Yeah.
And also Zapier. So like if you Google Zapier, Basecamp, whatever third-party tool, like if something might come up, we do that a lot. I've seen Ashley do it a million times, like Zapier, Basecamp, blank. And there's often integrations with that. Oh, and she's dropped it in the chat.
It's a common link for me.
Okay, friends, this has been fun. Chad, thank you for joining us for this.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Again, I'm going to post this on the screen just so you guys have it. support@basecamp.com if you have further questions. Actually, do you want to tell them about the community before we wrap it up, since we have a minute or two?
That sounds great.
Okay.
The Basecamp community is a delightful place where people, probably like you, are gathering and talking about how they're wondering things about Basecamp or how they're succeeding in Basecamp. And so there's a lot of real life examples and real life people who can kind of help you with any questions that you might have, or you might be able to help somebody else with their questions. Here's how we handle a thing. So that community, let me hit the link for it. Just add in your email address. I'll give it a look over later today. We'll invite you to that space, and then you'll have a plethora of people to bounce ideas off of.
Amazing. And I also put a direct link right below us. Join the Basecamp community. That'll get you to that page. Fill out that form. We'd love to have you. There's like over 2,000 plus, I don't know, maybe 2,500-ish Basecamp people in there. And there's like some people who've been Basecamp users for a decade plus. So they're like some serious experts in that group.
Yep.
So,
and then you'll find Kimberly and Chad in there every now and again too. So it's not like, we have to stop here.
you can see more of us. Okay, well, with that, we're going to wrap it up. Thank you guys for joining us. And again, if you have any questions, reach out to support@basecamp.com. Ashley will follow up with an email just to say hello. And you can also just respond directly to that. Chad, thank you. And you guys have a great rest of your day.
Everyone.